I'm a poor wayfaring stranger, traveling through this world of woe. And there's no sickness, toil, or danger to that bright land to which I go. I'm going there to meet my mother. I'm going there no more to roam. I'm only going over Jordan. I'm only
Hi.
going.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm well, thank you. How are you?
I'm good.
It's very cold here in New York State. Very, very cold.
Really, I was there last year and I really love the snow there. I love the winters there. I so miss it now.
I only like the winters for about a month and then I'm done.
So does MS is affected by winters?
Absolutely. And in fact, the region where I'm from, Buffalo in New York State, has the highest rate of multiple sclerosis in the world.
Oh, okay.
So I live in the MS capital of the world, and yes, the cold is very hard. You get really bad pains in your fingertips and your toes, and it can be really very painful. So I try to stay inside as much as possible. But I recently adopted a dog, so I'm
Oh,
outside, who I love with all my heart, but it's forcing me to go outside way more than I would like to.
he enjoys snow more than you.
He does, yeah.
Okay, Carmina, I'm really glad to meet you in person. I'm really happy that you're here with me.
Thank you
Like,
so much. I really appreciate it.
like I mentioned last time, I had read your story about MS and it literally made me cry. The way you have just fought with it, you thought about your body positivity, how you dealt with your career, your modeling job. Oh my God,
Yeah.
that's something, everybody should know that there are
Mm.
changes you need to accept in life and just deal with it
Yep.
bravely.
Yeah, and I at the same time I was diagnosed with MS, I was diagnosed with two other neurological diseases, one of which is very rare and it's actually far worse than MS. So
Oh,
MS isn't even the biggest problem I have. So the three of them together has been extremely difficult to manage.
how have you been coping with all the three things altogether?
Well, as you read in my article on Yahoo, it took 12 years to get diagnosed with all of them.
Yeah,
So when I got my diagnosis, I was relieved because I didn't know what I had. We called it mystery disease. I
yeah.
said, well, I have mystery disease. And so then when we got a name for it, I was grateful and relieved because, of course, you could start treatment. But it really does color every part of my life. I was at a musical rehearsal last night, and there was, in the choreography, there was a lot of pounding and stomping and banging, and it gave me a seizure, and I had to leave the
Oh,
rehearsal.
oh, I hate
And
seasons.
then even more than most people with multiple sclerosis, I'm extremely sensitive to light, to noise, to sound. So I get stuck in the house all day because that's where I can control my environment.
Yeah.
So I'm very stubborn, and I was given a lot of blessings, but I was also given a lot of curses.
Oh,
And I just try to do the best I can every day, and sometimes that best is not very good. And sometimes that best is fabulous. And so that's difficult. It's just not, each day is different. Each day you don't know how you're going
absolutely.
to feel, how your body's going to react. You don't know if your voice is going to be there for you, if you're going to have seizures. So that's really hard to know how to keep living your life, but kind of be anxious and nervous all the time.
Yeah. So, what was the problem with the voice that you had mentioned?
Well, because multiple sclerosis is a disease of fatigue. At the end of
Yes.
the day, for me, that's the number one complaint is the fatigue. I
Yes.
can put up with the pain. I could put up with, all the other things that go with MS, but the tiredness and the fatigue, it's awful. And you can't understand what the fatigue feels like unless you have a chronic disease yourself. It's not about being tired. It's not that you need a nap. It's bone fatigue. You could sleep 18 hours and you wake up and you're exhausted.
Feel tired, yeah.
Yeah, and because I'm an opera singer, opera takes a tremendous amount of physical stamina. It takes a lot of physical energy. And there are days I just don't have it. I just literally physically do not have the strength to sing opera some days. And that really affects my career.
So what do you actually do for fatigue? Is it like you take a break from everything, take rest completely? Do you eat something like that? Or
I rest as
medications?
much as I rest as much as I possibly can. I build a nap into my afternoon schedule every day. But for example, this past week was so busy, I haven't been able to nap since last Saturday. And I'm really feeling the effects of the fatigue.
Of course.
So part of it is becoming very stubborn about protecting your own schedule and really having to fight other people. Other people just don't understand. I can't do anything between, I don't know, something like 3 and 6 p.m. every day. And they don't understand how I'm not just a spoiled princess who wants to stay home in bed. It's as important as food and water and oxygen, the ability to sleep. And this past week I haven't slept, and you feel the difference. So part of it is being very stubborn and just fighting constantly, and unfortunately fighting friends and loved ones, which is very frustrating. Yeah. I need this sleep. For food, luckily, I was already pretty much on the recommended MS diet. I've always eaten healthy. I had do what they call the Mediterranean diet. Okay. So I'm basically vegetarian, and I have fish sometimes. My doctors and I talked about just keeping lots of healthy fruits and vegetables, lots of whole grains, olive oil, tons of water. High quality seafood, because I would love to be a total vegan or vegetarian. Yeah. But he explained to me that in my case, because I have these 3 different neurological diseases, that my protein needs are high. So I do have, high quality, ecologically. Oh, one of my girls just said hi, my Jasmine, one of my models that I mentor. Hi, Jazz. I love you. She's a super cutie guy.
Hi, Jasmine, from my side too.
Yeah. So I just try to eat as healthfully as I can. But I have ice cream and nachos and tacos.
Once a while has to be cheating.
You have to have fun too. And then medicine-wise, that's been tough. I have been pulled on and off 4 different MS meds since June. And that's been incredibly difficult to deal with.
So also, I'm sorry to interrupt, but when we're talking about diet, do you also include gluten and dairy in your diet?
I do. When I first got diagnosed, they put me on a gluten-free trial, because I know for some people with MS, cutting gluten out almost cures it or manages it.
Right.
And so I was very strict. I tried the gluten-free diet for a month, but I'm also Italian.
Oh.
And I was thinking, if it works, that's great. But dear God, please no. I want my bread and I want my pasta. And it turned out it's nothing, for me, it's nothing to do with gluten. It made absolutely no difference. So it's too bad that I can't control it, but I can eat my bread and my pasta. Someone just asked what my thoughts on the keto diet are. Thank you for that. I personally do not believe in the keto diet. I think it's founded on pseudoscience nonsense. I think the science behind it is, excuse my language, bullshit. And I refuse to eat meat. I mean, the keto diet is mainly a meat diet, and I've been vegetarian since 1993. That's never going to change. If the keto diet works for other people, that's great. I don't
Ultimately, if
really
you do
think
not have
much of it.
carbs in your body, where will you get the energy to exercise, to walk, to, do the normal things, normal routine? Carbs is also essential for the body. Cannot be without
Yeah.
carbs. So, and keto
Yeah,
just eliminates carbs altogether.
yeah. I mean, if, like I said, if it works for someone else, God bless them. But to me, nah.
What
I'm
about
going
dairy
back to,
products?
sorry, what's that?
What about dairy products?
I have minimized them.
Okay.
Um, Partly just for compassion and ecological reasons. I try to only buy dairy products through local farmers.
Okay.
So I know that the chickens and the cows and the goats were treated well. I know that dairy causes inflammation, which can
Yes.
be a problem with MS. So I've taken it down, but not completely out.
Okay.
Yeah. I saw another person. I'm just scrolling back through here. I'm new to this live chat thing, so everyone bear with me. Someone asked me what my other two neurological diseases are. Oh, and yes, someone else chimed in that opera singing requires a lot of strength. Yeah. Sarah Sue, or what? I'm sorry, I can't pronounce it. Someone else pointed that out.
Serious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one of the other neurological diseases, and it's often found with multiple sclerosis, is called trigeminal neuralgia.
Okay.
It's a pain disorder, and its nickname is the suicide disease.
Okay. Oh my God.
And I agree with that nickname because it is excruciatingly painful. There are no words to describe the pain from trigeminal neuralgia. It's unreal. And then the other one is very rare. It's called pseudotumor cerebri.
Pardon?
Pseudotumor cerebri is
Okay.
a how do you describe it? It's when the spinal fluid pressure is too high. So the spinal fluid in your spine squeezes your brain.
Okay.
So, for example, when you sneeze, you know how you get that feeling of like pressure in your head for a second?
Mm-hmm.
I had that pressure for 12 years.
Oh my God.
And it was one of the worst cases my neurologist had ever seen. And it was so severe that he had to have a team from UCLA help him diagnose it. As far as we know, I'm the only person in North America who has both MS and pseudotumor cerebri.
Is it in America? Oh my
In
God.
North America, that's as far as we know. So, USA!
You're a
I mean,
complete
I guess
model for this too.
I guess I'm special. So yeah, fighting, and then I have 3 endocrine diseases as well. So I have a lot of diseases.
But in spite of having all these diseases, you are still smiling positively. That's what matters.
That's my natural way. I almost always default back to positive. I default back to smiling, and I have my dark moments, very, very dark moments, but I bounce back out of them. And actually, I have to thank you personally. This came along at a really good time for me because I've been in a very dark place the last couple weeks. My treatments have not been going well. I'm sure you've heard horror stories about the American insurance system. They're all true.
Yeah.
And my MS has been untreated since early November.
Oh my God.
And I have spent hours fighting doctors, fighting the insurance agencies, fighting the specialty pharmacies, been on the phone just really for hours, keeping lists. And just really broke down sobbing multiple times the last couple of weeks.
I'm
So
sorry
this
to hear
came
that.
along at such a good time and gave me something to feel a little bit more positive about.
I'm happy that I'm able to help you out. I know I won't be able to help you out in whatever is going on in America, but I'm happy that I made you smile.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, the videos you made, which were beautiful, reminded me I'm strong. I've done incredible work under extremely difficult circumstances. Just looking at that video, I was like, damn, I'm a badass, you know? And I kind of forgot because I got so beaten down by the system.
I know. I know. We had a chat last time. You were really upset. I hope things go well, and you were anyways a writer. This will also pass away. Guys, if you have any
Sure.
questions, please ask Carmina. I'll be right back. Thank you
Okay.
so much. Okay.
From Aqua de Vida Official, I got asked, when you say fighting friends and family, do they not understand the symptoms? Some of them don't. Some friends and family literally think I'm a spoiled baby who sits at home and lays in bed and doesn't work. That's been really difficult to deal with, that they just literally don't understand that I'm in pain every single day, that I'm exhausted all the time, that the work I do manage to do. I mean, for me, standing up and singing a 1-hour recital is like another guy climbing Mount Everest. It's all relative to what you can do. So that has been difficult. Yeah, some friends and family either don't get it or don't want to get it, which hurts, really hurts. You know, it hurts my feelings. So that's a great question. Thank you for asking that. Let's see. What are your thoughts on keto? I answered that one. I got a lot of thumbs up, by the way, with my keto response. Aqua de Vida Official, you also asked what's my opinion on Kangen water. I don't know. I've never heard of it. I'll have to look that up. Vitamins, yeah, I do take a heavy dose of D3 and B12 every single day. I also take a multivitamin, and I'm going to start taking omega 3, 9, and 12. So I don't overdo the supplements, but the D's, the B's, and the omegas are really important for MS. I do try to get my vitamins through my food, but sometimes I'm so nauseated that I have a hard time even getting the food down. So we go to the supplement. From Pabwid88, I've not found anything that has helped me. I have seizures with my MS, which are bad. I also have seizures. You also have lupus. Oh, bless your heart. You got hit internally and externally. I'm going to speak candidly here. The only thing on this planet that has ever stopped my seizures is marijuana. I have no shame about it. I will go 10 rounds with anyone who judges me for it. And only, in my case, only smoking stops the seizures. The pills, the oils, CBD, the syrups, for me, those do nothing. But I'll be seizing, literally seizing, and I'll take a few smokes, and you will just watch the seizure turn off, and in a couple minutes, it's like it never happened. It's a miracle drug. It doesn't work for everyone, but I would have no quality of life if it wasn't for cannabis. It's what allows me to feel well enough to go sing the opera, to go teach the class, to go modeling for 7 hours in a high heel. Really, I owe my entire quality of life to marijuana. So whether you can get it legally or illegally, or you can get a medical card, smoke it. It might not work for you, but I think it will. It's the most powerful anti-seizure medicine I have ever known in my life, and I don't care who knows it. Honestly, it's one of the best things that ever happened to me.
Okay. Okay, I also got that answer. Thank you so much.
Good. Yeah, you got to do your injections when you got to do your injections. I'm not really into injections myself.
What are you taking then?
I am starting Ocrevus or Ocrevus. I don't know how it's
Yeah,
pronounced on
Ocrevus, yeah.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
As I said, I've been waiting since early November.
Yeah.
I tolerate infusions really well.
Mm-hmm.
I don't tolerate injections well. We
Oh.
had to we had to find that out the hard way. For whatever reason, my skin makes, what's the word, welts, like bruises, really
Yeah.
bad blood clots
Yeah,
at the
blood clots.
injection site. So Copaxone is not an option for me.
Oh.
So hopefully, finally, after 3 months, I can start the Ocrevus on Tuesday. So everyone say a little prayer for me on that one.
Yeah, and I think there are a lot of people on this page who are actually taking Ocrevus. I had
Oh,
done
good.
analysis in the past. I'm yet to share the analysis with everybody. So Ocrevus is
Wonderful.
being taken by a lot of people. I think should be up by next week probably. I'll try my best.
Wow. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah. Let's see. Someone also asked, what motivates you the most when you're feeling down? This sounds corny, but it's the honest truth. Helping and inspiring other people is the number one thing that motivates me. There are days when I feel like I can't even get out of bed, but I thought someone out there needs my help. Someone out there is worse off than I am. I decided to give meaning to my health problems. I didn't just want to be a sick girl. I wanted to be a sick girl with a platform, a sick girl who could help other people. And I get, even just before I got diagnosed, when I was just a plus size model, I would get letters from people around the world. I was going to commit suicide until I saw your pictures. Just the notes of inspiration. I mean, it's a little tiny bit of an ego boost, so I try to, that's not what it's about. But really, honest to God, helping inspire other people motivates me. I feel like I was put on this earth with a broken body to help other people feel better about theirs.
That's wonderful. That's
And
just
that gives me strength sometimes when I don't have any strength. Like I have to
absolutely.
almost get it from you guys. You guys give me a lot of strength. And I'm not just saying that, it's really true. I get strength from my friends and fans and followers, and I hope I can give it back to them. So it's a good relationship.
That's what I say. Sometimes you really have to be strong for the others, for the people who love you, rather than for yourself. Because when you think about them, you have them in your mind. You will work more towards yourself, your well-being. Okay,
Absolutely.
Carmina, so we have Chris here. Chris is my friend. Hi, Chris. He is the guy I interviewed last time, if you had seen the interview.
I saw
Chris
part of it.
is,
Yep.
yeah, you were. Chris is a bodybuilder. He's an amazing personality. In fact, all the people who ever saw the interview loved him so much. Even he has written answering your Caesar's question. He's written, I haven't had a Caesar over a year since
That's
I really
awesome.
focus on health and nutrition.
Yep. Good for him. He's able to control it just through health and nutrition. That's incredible. My
Yeah.
seizures actually come from the pseudotumor cerebri and not from the MS.
Yeah.
So my seizures kind of have a slightly different flavor to them, but they're still very well, hello, Chris. They're still very well controlled by the use of marijuana.
Yeah. So how often do you get seizures, if I may ask?
If I'm home alone with my doggie and I have complete control over my environment, I don't really get any. Yesterday I had 4.
Oh,
Yeah. So it's hard because you want to get out of the house, you want to have fun, you want to go work, see people. But I know the second I'm out that door, I'm going to get attacked by noise, by smell, by something. So, that's always a deal with the devil. I could stay home all the time and feel physically great, but bored and lonely. Or I can go out and do all the things, but have seizures.
how do you control, like, if you have a seizure? What's your reaction? What you going to do next?
The only thing is marijuana. Nothing else turns it off. Yes, I've had 3 spinal taps, by the way. I've had 3 lumbar punctures.
Oh my
Someone
God.
just asked that. Yeah. You have to have a lumbar because it's the only way to officially diagnose MS. So, yeah. And someone asked me what I do for pain management. Same answer, marijuana. When I have relapses, I do use hydrocodone. But day-to-day pain management, cannabis.
Someone has asked you to, Gina has asked you to name your vitamins again.
Oh, yes. So vitamin B12, vitamin D3.
Oh, Chris has answered that for you.
I know, right? Chris, you're my dude. Why aren't we hooking up?
He is a man.
Yeah, vitamin B3, B12, D3, and all the omegas. And I do work out. I do Pilates 2 or 3 times a week.
Wow.
We've modified the Pilates because if I move my head around too much, that's part of what gives me the seizures. There's a positional aspect. So my Pilates trainer works with me, and we do all the exercises, but we found ways to keep my head stationary. So those days, you know how when you have MS, your legs don't always want to work.
No, not at all.
So I need my arm strength to be as strong as possible. Okay. So I can compensate for my legs. I need my ab and core strength. Of course, for modeling and for singing, you have to have very strong abs. But sometimes all I have is my ab strength when the rest of my body just turns into like a wet noodle. So, yeah, exercise is extremely important for people with MS. Keep whatever you can manage, whether it's what Chris is doing and like being an incredible bodybuilder, whether it's mountain climbing, or whether all you can manage is a 10-minute walk, do it. Do whatever you can do.
Yeah. I see Pavvid88 has written, have you gone through it?
Mm-hmm.
He's written, I take Tecfidera for my MS, muscle relaxants, and Wimpet for the seizures. I'm quite nauseated daily. The lupus has affected my vision, so can't get a script for the glasses.
Oh, bless.
My vision changes.
Yeah, optic neuritis is a problem for everyone with MS. We all have degrees of optic neuritis, but it sounds like he has a rough case of it. That sucks.
Yeah.
Warrior Spirit Style said, thank you for sharing all this. You have no idea how much you guys motivate me. Thank you for saying that. That motivates me.
Chris has asked one question.
Excuse me.
What do you do for pain management?
Right. So again, mainly it's really just the marijuana helps with the pain management. Like I said, if I'm having a full-on relapse, I will use hydrocodone. But I'm not interested in getting addicted, so I try to really be very cautious with the hydrocodone. But for day to day, I sleep. I sleep and smoke a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, so Padwit has already again written that I actually had a seizure last Friday. Oh my God. Then got a hit with the MS. My entire body contracted. I take vitamin B12. I'm every 30 days, vitamin D12, D2 daily.
Yeah.
Okay. So
go ahead.
I also would like you to share a bit of your story. Like, we understand 12 years back you got this, and after 12 years everything was diagnosed. So can you just take us through your story, how it happened?
Sure. Well, I was born very ill. I almost died a number of times as a baby. So I've never known good health. I've never, ever been healthy in my entire life. I spent my teens and my 20s dealing with a lot of endocrine or hormone diseases. And then in my late 20s, I started coming down with these very strange neurological symptoms that no one could figure out. I went to pain specialists. I went to neurologists all around the country. They thought I had lupus, arterial sclerosis, explosive stabbing headache, idiosyncratic migraine, like you name any neurological anything, and they kind of half diagnosed me with it. And after a couple of years, I just gave up trying to get diagnosed, because sometimes the stress of all the testing and the poking and the prodding and being in the MRI tube was just as bad as dealing with it. Okay. And, you know, my ex-husband and I moved to England, and I put up with it completely by myself in England. I got no medical treatment for it over there. And then in late 2015, I went into full optic neuritis. I was in the middle of giving an opera recital, and I just went blind in my right eye.
Okay.
And that's when they started to retest me, MRIs, lumbar punctures. That's when they figured out I had the disorder of the spinal fluid pressure, which is called pseudotumor cerebri. And then soon after, they figured out, okay, it's also MS, and it's also trigeminal neuralgia. But for those 12 years, 30% of my life is just missing. I'm 43 now. And 12 years is a huge chunk of your life. I didn't know what I had. My husband and I were completely in the dark. Once everyone figured out I wasn't going to drop dead, you know, at first it could have been an aneurysm, it could have been a brain tumor, because the three diseases were interacting in such a strange way that it didn't look like I had anything. You know, it wasn't a clear-cut case of any one of the three conditions, because they all interacted funny. Yeah. So after that first year, when we figured out, okay, I'm not going to drop dead, people just kind of dropped me and my husband, honestly. We didn't get support. We didn't get help. It was really just the two of us in the dark.
Yeah.
And our entire lives, bless his heart, our entire lives were absolutely ruled by my disease. I mean, there was a third person in our marriage, and that third person was all of my diseases. We're still very good friends after our breakup. He's still one of my best friends, but this destroyed our marriage. The unbelievable pressure of him being my 100% caretaker was very, very difficult on him. You know, I could have handled things better. I don't exactly have a PhD in how to have three diseases. And yeah, it destroyed our relationship. So the failure to get me diagnosed wasn't only hard on me physically, but it shattered my life.
Obviously.
I was in a PhD program at the time, and I had to drop out, so I don't have my degree. You know, my weight was going up and down, and I'm still trying to model in the meantime. It was, I felt like I was a prisoner, not only a prisoner in the house, but a prisoner inside my own body. As a plus size model, I'm an internationally known diversity advocate, fighting for models of all shapes, sizes, colors, genders, races, to be treated fairly in fashion. And I felt, how do I say it? It took me so long, because of the endocrine diseases I have, my weight would balloon up and down and up and down, and that's terrible for my self-esteem. So I had a lot of self-hatred, a lot of body hatred. And then, you know, I was this top model working in London and Paris and New York and LA. And then I felt great about how I looked on the outside and made all my peace with that. But then when I got sick, I hated the inside of my body. So I spent 20 years figuring out, you know, I'm beautiful, I look great. So what if I'm a little overweight? to I hate the inside of my body. So it's like I had to start the whole body love process over again, which has also been difficult. Someone asked where I live, by the way. I'm in Buffalo, New York.
You are pretty strong. I mean, you have dealt with relationship problems, health problems, career problems, everything. I mean, you are a complete package of everything, just getting on the way, still, fighting with it bravely, and still, at the end, just smiling and just taking it because it has passed. Today, you are.
I get it from my mother and my grandmother and my great-grandmother. They're all Southern Italian. My mom has a huge amount of health problems, terrible, and she has her whole life. And my mom has always, the phrase is, she takes a licking and keeps on ticking. And my mom would always get up and just keep fighting. And she really gave me the best example you could possibly have for how to just get up, keep going, try again.
Perfect.
And yeah, people are commenting on how important family support is and how incredibly hard it is on the caretaker. Yeah, and it's great. We're still good friends because he still helps me and takes care of me more than anyone, more than my family, more than my friends. So I don't know if he's listening or not. I think he's at work, but I owe him a lot. But it's hard. I mean, I'm single. I'm in this big house with my doggie who just, let's see if we can get, come here, honey bear. You want to say hi? Hold on, let me see if we can get my doggie. This is my baby boy.
So cute. Hey.
That's Honey Bear. Everyone's looking at you.
He's wondering what's going on.
Mommy, come play with me.
Exactly, come play with me.
But it's really just me and the dog alone in this big house. I'm single. I don't want to be single. It's very lonely. I mean, it's making me even stronger to be single and doing it on my own. But I think I've proven to the world I'm pretty damn strong. Like, I don't think I need to have any more tests of my strength.
You have proved yourself, you've proved to your friends, families, to the world also. Would you like to tell a little more about body positivity? Since you have seen ups and downs, loving yourself again, would you like to tell something to the viewers here? Like, how do you love
the fashion, to take it just from the fashion and modeling industry, it is changing very, very slowly. But we are seeing so many more disabled models walking the top runways, missing arms, Down syndrome, in wheelchairs, deaf, blind, with MS, seeing models of all races, transgendered models, models with mastectomies, so very slowly the fashion industry is opening up. But in terms of body love and self-love in general, I mean, it is really hard when your body is attacking you. And that's what happens when you have an immune system disorder. Your body is attacking itself.
Absolutely.
I mean, philosophically, that's kind of crazy if you think about it. But having people around you who love you helps a lot. I mean, there's no question. But hating your body isn't going to help you get it's not going to help you get well. Hating your body is going to make you sicker.
Yeah.
And everything comes down to the myelin. Everything comes down to those nerve endings. And anything that makes you sad or stressed or anxious is going to show up in your MS. And so that's another reason it becomes easier to kind of get positive and stay positive, because otherwise you are making yourself sick.
Absolutely. You'll be depressed, and depression causes stress.
Yep.
Stress is really, really bad for MS.
It's a bad cycle. I had a terrible, the worst MS relapse of my life this summer. I actually, for the first time, had the MS hug. I don't know if any of you guys have had the hug yet, but oh my God. They need to find another word for it because it ain't no damn hug. But I had it after a very unhealthy relationship ended. For 18 months, was in a very abusive relationship. I was psychologically and emotionally abused very severely for about a year and a half. And after I finally left that situation, the emotions were so overwhelming. I mean, of course I was going to have a relapse. I mean, there was almost no way I wasn't going to. And there's some stress you can't avoid. I mean, if your grandmother gets hit by a bus tonight, you're going to have terrible stress and anxiety.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. I am going to be in New York Fashion Week. I'm walking in New York Fashion Week. So I want to see some other MS warriors there with me. But it amazed me that someone who claimed to love me was abusing me so badly, and think how low a person you have to be to abuse a sick girl. Like, no one deserves abuse, but like to go after someone dealing with what I'm dealing with. Of course I had a relapse.
I understand, that's something I would like to talk about. See, there are relationships, and the relationship has to be mutual, respecting from both the sides. If
Yep.
you keep respecting one person and don't get respect from the other, being taken granted from the other person, no matter how much you try to compromise, you'll not be
Yep.
happy internally. That will actually make you depressed inside. You, even if you as a person do not like to curse someone else or
Right.
abuse someone else, why to take it on yourself?
Yeah.
That's very true, that if someone is really abusing you or cursing you or not treating you right, you know you don't deserve it. Why you have to
Yeah.
be in such relationship? I know it's hard, but just stay away from such toxic people.
I learned a lot of lessons. I mean, I wish it didn't happen, believe you me, but I learned when you're sick all the time, you learn to devalue yourself a little bit. You
Yeah.
you learn to apologize for your existence. And that's part of excuse me, that's part of why I stayed, is because having illnesses like diminishes you somehow, and you believe somehow that you're lesser or that you deserve a little less, if that makes sense. I don't know if other people with chronic health problems feel the same way, but that's part of why I got into that situation in the first place. It's not that I didn't think I deserved better, but it's just you kind of get used to getting the shitty end of the stick, if that makes sense. You get used to being dealt a bad hand. And so I didn't see the relationship for what it is. So now every day since that relationship ended, I wear this string of pearls because you may know the phrase, don't throw pearls before swine.
Okay.
It means don't take something beautiful and precious, it's from the Bible, and throw it in front of swine. Don't throw it in front of people who don't deserve it. And that's the lesson I learned. I will never throw my pearls before swine again, ever. This is my reminder that I now have incredibly high standards about how people treat me. And if they don't treat me with those standards, out. Done.
Absolutely. It's not only about having a chronic disease. Even a person without a chronic disease should not take any kind of shit. Why? You are
Absolutely.
not born in honor to take someone else's shit. Why?
Yeah.
When you don't treat anybody like that, you should not be deserving to be treated like that too.
Yeah.
And it's not just about you and me or someone else, it's about entire world. I think all the girls, most of the girls I see are going through such relationships. It's a learning for all of us. When the campaign of Me Too started, even that was like, being abused in a relationship or abused by some other person you don't know. It's all about abuse, getting abused. Let's
Yep.
just stay away from all that toxicity. Just stay
Yep.
away from that depression. Um, Positivity.
Yeah.
Everything comes. If you're happy, you will be confident. you will be happy, you will spread happiness around. But if you're sad inside, you will die inside every day.
Yeah, that's a good way to put
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, like if you don't have a friend around, just seriously have a pet around. You'll be happy. Just
Yeah.
give life to your pet. He will give his life to you.
Yeah.
I think that's what is more deserving. Okay, I think to lighten the mood, Ray's Mayan has written to you saying that even he's a bachelor.
I saw a couple of those go through. Hi, fellas.
That's very
This is part
sweet.
of the problem, though. I mean, people look at me and they see pretty, they see, smart and funny and vivacious, but then they're like, oh, it has health problems. People